The summer season in the Northern Hemisphere is well underway with numerous sailing events. Before we explore into this 7th episode of Inside Sailing, let's review the previous episode which took us between Asia and Europe. We visited China for the 3rd act of the Extreme Sailing series. The lakes of Brunnen and Constance in Switzerland hosted the Star Sailors League and Access European Championships events respectively. Korea was also one of the many destinations where we witnessed the Russian yacht Carrera win the pinnacle offshore sailing event in South Korea. Extreme sailing in the form of the GC32 Austria Cup, the first ever event for this new 32-foot foiling catamaran, took place on Lake Trancy, and Inside Sailing was there to bring you all the action. Finally, we visited Holland for the Delta Lloyd Regatta. In this episode of Inside Sailing, our focus is in Europe, starting with the Bosphorus Cup in Turkey that attracted almost 70 boats this year, and many well-known names from professional sailing gave a truly international aura to the event. Next, we'll move to Switzerland and Lake Geneva's most popular regatta, the legendary Bol d'Or Mirabeau. The event celebrated its 75th birthday this year, and more than 500 different types of boats competed. The opportunity of the Bol d'Or Mirabeau also gave us the chance to take a closer look at the GC32 catamaran which was competing. More than 3,000 participants were on the 508 competing yachts, of which 336 finished. The course takes teams on a lap of Lake Geneva, literally from Geneva down to the other end at La Bouverie and back. Lastly, we are going to check the action at the 4th stop of the Eurosaf Champions Cup in Kiel. Kieler Woche is the biggest Olympic regatta in Germany and is a key stage for the preparation and training for many Olympians. It is hosted in Olympienzentrum, the same venue where the Olympic Games of 1972 took place. In its 131th year, Kieler Woche still plays a virtuoso performance on the keyboard of festivity. Kieler Woche is the largest summer festival in Northern Europe. From the 22nd to the 30th of June, more than 3 million visitors from all over the world will be diving into the colourful and multifaceted life of Kieler Woche. Around 2,000 events in areas of culture, sailing, summer festival, entertainment, science, politics, industry and sport come together to form a maritime symphony. Visitors are promised 9 days of high spirits and festivity in Northern Europe. The sailing program at Kieler Woche combines Olympic classes, international classes and offshore classes in a real showcase of the sport. The world's best sailors and Olympians will be mixing it up alongside national and club level sailors across all disciplines of sailing. Racing for the Olympic classes gets underway from the 22nd of June using the new racing format which has been introduced for all the events on the new Eurosaf Champions Sailing Cup circuit. As event 4 of the circuit, teams will be familiar with the best approach to secure their podium places at Kieler Woche. Expect some close racing, fierce battles and medal race updates as the best of the best go head-to-head in Germany. Racing for the international classes starts on the 27th of June, with the offshore classes racing from the 22nd of June. And from Kiel in Germany, we move to Austria to check the new Extreme Catamaran. The GC32, as its name states, is a 32-foot catamaran that is designed to easily transfer and offer great moments of sailing joy. The new trend in sailing boats is the foiling systems that offer a lifting force to pull the hull and allows the boat to sail faster and have less surface touching the water. This new technology is widely spread and used by all the latest and exciting classes that aim to attract more people to the sport. Extreme sports is the latest fashion in sports, and sailing has not stayed out of it. GC32 especially is targeting to organise a European and world tour that will include the top sailing teams and the best professional sailors from around the world, raising the bar high enough. First hosted in 1939, the Bal d'Or is Switzerland's premier sailing event and renowned around the globe. Organised by the Société Nautique de Genève, it is Europe's largest regatta in enclosed waters and held on Lake Geneva each year on the second weekend in June. Racing across 11 different class divisions with monohulls, multi-hulls, one-design yachts, custom-made yachts and everything in between, the Bal d'Or is a spectacular must-do event and one of the great classics on the international sailing calendar. Sail the course right and the shortest distance is 123 kilometers or 66.5 nautical miles. Depending on the weather conditions, this race can be a blast or a highly tactical race which can take well over 24 hours. Teams race for a number of different prizes, with the most prestigious being the traditional Bal d'Or trophy, which is presented to the real-time overall winner each year. But win this trophy 3 times in 5 years and you earn the right to keep it. The Bal d'Or Mirabeau has forged a fabulous reputation over the years and attracts the world's greatest yachtsmen who have participated in and won the Bal d'Or, including Loïc Peyron, Ernesto Bettarelli, Alain Gauthier, Russell Coutts, Philippe Deux, Eric Tabarly, Dennis Conner and many others. So back to 2013, and the battle at the front was predicted to be between the D35 multi-hulls, with Alenghi and Reelstone Sailing, the winner of the Bal d'Or in 2012, forecast as the pre-race favourites. There are some unique yachts that participate in the Bal d'Or, which are specifically designed for this race and lake racing, such as some of the hydrofoiling multi-hulls similar to the Mirabeau, which are designed to take off and sail in incredibly light winds on hydrofoils, reducing the surface area of the boat on the water to achieve maximum speed. After the break, we will see a bit more from the new GC32 catamaran. We will then move to the action from the racing at Kieler Woche in Germany. And we take a closer look at some of the top sailors who participated at the 2013 Bosphorus Cup. So stay close. Time now to get in some more action from the Kieler Woche. Kieler Woche, hosted in Kiel, Germany, is one of the top sailing events worldwide and can trace its history back to 1882. It is the 4th stop of the Eurosaf Champions Sailing Cup and attracts the best of the best Olympic sailors in Kiel, Germany. Weather during the event delivered everything: windy days and light winds, cloud and sun, so it was really challenging for the sailors and skills across all conditions was absolutely necessary. While sailing is at the heart of Kieler Woche, there is more on offer with over 2,000 musical and cultural events taking place, making it the largest summer festival in Northern Europe. Let's get into the action across the Olympic classes competing here. In the women's 49er FX fleet, there was a high number of top teams competing, including local heroes Uchark and Lorenz and Lutzen Berker, with both teams intent on their mission to secure the winner's trophy. A strong Australian contingent included Parkinson and Hall, along with Price and Elks, who were also all in really good shape. Over in the men's 49er, Germany also had a strong showing with 12 teams competing. Last year's second-place team in the 49er Junior Worlds, Jan Eriksson and Lutz, had a great start to the series, as did the highly experienced Olympic team of Delacarth and Resch of Austria. Amongst the pre-race favourites were Germany's Hale and Ploessel, whose hometown is Kiel, and earlier this year the pair had won ISAF Sailing World Cup Palma in Mallorca. In the laser fleet, all the focus was on the young hero Philippe Bull, who was felt to be the only sailor who could outsail Robert Scheid of Brazil, the 5-time Olympian who has won 3 laser medals in the laser class. At just 23 years old, Bull has already made a name for himself. Throughout the championship, it was Scheid who delivered a more consistent performance and managed to get on top and maintain his lead until just before the medal race. Scheid, who has only recently returned to the laser class after 7 years in the star class, put in a really stable performance and seems to find his place in his big love, the laser, where he first became famous. Also racing here in Kilovoha is the new mixed multi-hull class, the NACRA 17s. A strict one-design class, all teams compete on the NACRA 17 using exactly the same equipment, so it's all about the sailors' skills around the track. The first 2 racing days were all about the qualification rounds, before 2 days of finals racing would determine the top 6 teams advancing through to the medal stage. There were 2 real pre-event favourites, the Australians Waterhouse and Darmanin and the Spanish Martinez and Pacheco. Another former 49er sailor, Austria's Thomas Zak, racing with Frank, were also forecast to do well. Fierce battles to the very end were on the cards, with the 2-time Olympic medalist in the 49er class Martinez with crew Pacheco ultimately victorious. Back in the 49er fleet, there was some great medal race action. Austria's Delacarth and Resch were leading going into the 3-medal race, so held the advantage. Germany's Hale and Ploessl were unlucky to capsize in the very first race, which gave them only a theoretical chance of winning. But they gave it their all to win race 2 and then followed up with a 2nd place in the final medal race. But it was not enough and they had to be satisfied with 2nd overall. The final day was all about the Austrians, Delacarth and Resch, who delivered a 2-3-1 to seal victory and demonstrate who is #1 at Kilovoha. Over in the laser fleet, the medal race was set up to be a titanic battle between Brazil's Scheid and Germany's Sailor of the Year, Bull. Bull sailed the race of his life to take the race win, with Scheid crossing just behind in 2nd place. This result meant the 2 sailors were on equal points, but Bull won on tie-break advantage. Where else was Bull to beat Scheid if not in Kiel? Moving away from the Olympic classes, medals were also fought for. The Paralympic 2.4 metre and 17 other international classes, including the 505s, 420s, Musto skiffs and the new B1 keelboat, as well as the 18 offshore classes representing ORC, ORC Club, One Design and multi-hulls. 102 teams from 17 nations took part in the ever-popular 29er event, but there was really no disputing who was going to dominate this fleet. France's Roal and Amoros had made their intentions evident after day 1, with a scoreline of 2 race wins and a 2nd place. Over in the 505 fleet, one sailor in particular dominates the fleet, Dr. Wolfgang Hunger. By winning his 20th Kilovoha title last year, the physician made history, and every win he adds makes this record more unattainable. The 5-time 505 world champion Hunger and crew Kleiner had to discard merely a 2nd position after 6 races. The other 505 competitors could only take their hats off to their performance. And they finally triumphed again for the 21st time at this 131st edition of the Kiel Week. It was a great week of sailing at Kilovoha, with thousands of spectators gathered to watch the races live and many more watching the live streaming. The event organisers and title sponsors, SAP, are a partnership focused on using innovative technologies to broadcast the world's largest sailing regatta to a global audience and communicate sailing in the best possible way. Back to the racing on Lake Geneva and the 2013 Bol d'Or Mirabeau. The start line is immediately off the Société Nautique de Genève, with the starts taking place in rotation. The sheer number of boats totally dominate the view from one side of the lake to the other, a real spectacular. A smaller start line was set for the multi-hulls just in front of the big starting line for the monohull fleet. The fleet all waited patiently and full of anticipation for the race start to be given. The variety of boats competing and dazzling range of colours of the hulls and sails filled the lake. Shoreside there was a festival atmosphere, with the public gathered to watch the show. Panoramic views were claimed by spectators up on the hills around the lake, which were jam-packed with people wanting to be part of this regatta and witness a spectacle of so many boats gathered together for this prestigious event. Even though the wind was light, a regular feature of the Swiss lakes, the multi-hulls fleet started really quickly and charged up the early stage of the track, leaving Geneva behind. It was a long and tiring leg to the east side of the lake, with the fleet stopping and starting again many times as the wind was neither constant nor consistent over the entire length of the lake. Setting the pace at the front of the fleet were mainly multi-hulls, the fast-foiling monohulls and the skiffs. Their advantage in light winds is obvious compared with the rest of the fleet. A big sail area and light weight is a priority in these light winds, enabling the boats to benefit from even the slightest wind gust. The turning mark was at the eastern end of Lake Geneva, in front of the port of Le Bourget. And it was the catamaran Zenith that managed to round first. The organizing committee of the Bol d'Or had taken a massive leap in technology this year, with every boat carrying a GPS tracker, enabling fans, friends and family to track the minute-by-minute action. For those fans on site at the host club, the Société Nautique de Genève had opened its doors to the public, with large screens showing the regatta unfold in real time and handicap time. In the past, only about 100 boats had carried GPS trackers, so another massive step forward for this 75th anniversary edition of the race. One of the many special elements of the Bol d'Or is that it brings together international sailing stars with the regular club racers, all sharing the same passion and on the same start line. The event also showcases Lake Geneva as an ideal base for testing cutting-edge technology and nautical design. Back to the Bol d'Or, where we've left the fleet reaching the turning point at Port Bouveret with the catamaran Zenith in the lead. Not much changed weather-wise over the duration of the race as the teams headed back to Geneva. Fluctuating pressure of between 3 to 10 knots only gave more of an advantage to the leading boats. Finally, 12 hours, 30 minutes and 29 seconds after starting, it was the catamaran Zenith that managed to cross the finish line first, skippered by Jean-Philippe Boucher. They celebrated their win with the traditional champagne and dip in the water before claiming the prestigious Bol d'Or trophy at the prize giving. The team on Zenith managed to win by a margin of almost 2 hours over the next place crew on Wal, a decision 35. Zenith's victory ended 9 years of domination at the Bol d'Or of the decision 35 class. Renowned America's Cup sailor Ernesto Bertarelli, racing on his decision 35 Alenghi 1, finished in third, with rival Jerome Clerc on Reelstone Sailing in fourth. The first monohull to cross the finish line was the Hungarian boat Libera Raffica after 15 hours and 1 minute of racing, and with it they claimed the Bol de Vermeil. They not only won the Bol de Vermeil but earned the right to keep it forever, as they also won in 1996, 1997, 1998 and 2012. Some happy teams celebrating their outstanding race wins. One of the boats competing in the Bol d'Or this year was the GC32 catamaran. Both Team Marwin and Team SPAC Solutions were racing on Lake Geneva, testing the new boat and training for future class events. Team Marwin was skippered by Flavio Marazzi, with Laurent Lennert taking the helm of Team SPAC Solutions. These one-design racing machines are a cutting-edge design, capable of incredibly fast speeds, use the latest technology, and are like riding a thoroughbred racehorse. Perfect ingredients for those who like to be challenged. 6 professional teams contested a round-robin race series in what was for many to be their first experience of multi-hull racing. With the GC32's equal in performance, it all comes down to the team and their skills in getting round the track in the very close boat on boat duels of lake racing. Demonstrating his transferable skills, former World Match Racing champion Adam Minoprio of New Zealand put in a string of race wins to end victorious in his first ever multi-hull event. With a massive sail area and incredibly light weight, 6 knots of breeze, and the GC32s are flying a hull. Now let's move to Turkey and the 2013 Bosphorus Cup. Amongst the highly competitive fleet are two rock-star sailors, both winners of the Volvo Ocean Race and highly recognised in the world of sailing. Mike Sanderson, the Moose from New Zealand, was helming on a First 40, while the renowned offshore Frenchman Lionel Payen was on an A35, raising the competition of the IRC2 class. Mike Sanderson has an impressive list of achievements to his name. In 2006, he was awarded the ISAF Rolex World Sailor of the Year Award after winning the 2005-2006 Volvo Ocean Race as skipper of ABN AMRO, becoming the youngest skipper to ever win the race. To date, he has competed in 4 Volvo Ocean races, winning 2 of them and 3 America's Cup campaigns, as well as many other race achievements. Lionel Payen is a legend in France as a winner of numerous solo and crewed races. Payen won the 1985 Whitbread Round the World race, now named Volvo Ocean Race, on teamwork. Other victories include winning the Solitaire de Figaro in 1983 and finishing on the podium in the 1986 Route de Rome. 2 inshore races took place on the first day of the event in marginal conditions. After 2 general recalls, the fleet finally started and headed slowly to the windward mark. The pressure was below 5 knots, and crews made as few movements as possible in order to keep momentum and sail faster. A long port tack leg was the main characteristic of the first upwind, with Orient Express 6 leading the fleet. It was a snail's pace race to the weather mark, where the first boats hoisted their spinnakers and headed for the downwind leg. Sanderson and Payen were close together, with Payen in the lead and Sanderson following further to windward, slowly heading for the bottom gate. Finally, the race was shortened at the first downwind as the wind was slowly dying. Ahead of the second race, the wind had picked up to 15 knots, and the second race started with the fleet speeding upwind this time and crews hiking hard to keep their boats flat. Orient Express 6 had a great start on windward, while Avea Istanbul Yelken was the first on leeward. The fleet was packed together and the boat-to-boat battles were intense, with some exciting tactical exchanges. Despite a few problems downwind, Orient Express 6 held the lead. The Sea of Marmara was filled with colourful spinnakers pacing downwind with impressive speed. Racetrack tension and excitement built as the teams teased every bit of speed out of their boats, trimming sails and sailing the waves. The race continued with another 2 laps, and by the end the Protel Mademoiselle team won the second race and took over at the top of the leaderboard. In a tie though with Orient Express 6, who had won the first race. Kia Agadir was in 3rd position, with all to play for in Saturday's coastal race in the Bosphorus Straits.
It's obviously an amazing opportunity to come to Istanbul, you know, to get to do the Bosphorus Cup. I'd read about it, I knew about it, and I'm really looking forward to it. You know, I've only been here now 12 hours or something, so had a quick whirlwind tour of the city, and you know, it's amazing for someone like me who comes from New Zealand, who, you know, New Zealand's only 150 odd years old, and here we are looking at buildings, you know, up to 2,000 years old. So for me, that's quite amazing.
However, after the completion of the opening day of racing, the organising committee of the American Express Bosphorus Cup 2013 took the decision to cancel any further racing due to the ongoing protests involving thousands of demonstrators and police which were taking place in Istanbul. In the next episode of Inside Sailing, we will bring you the fast-paced racing action from the 49er and 49er FX European Championships in Aarhus, Denmark. Some of the most exciting Olympic classes, the 49er and 49er FX fleets, are moving to the home of Danish sailing, and everything is at stake as many new faces push forwards to claim podium finishes. We then move to Italy for the Kite Course Racing Europeans and the venue of Getaria, which is an ideal location for kite events, and after a successful European Championship in the kite slalom last year, is taking a step forward for 2013. We stay in Italy but move further north for the Star Eastern Hemisphere Championship, and we will close with the world's premier youth sailing event in Cyprus. The ISAF Youth Sailing World Championships is the ultimate sailing event for young sailors, and only the top athletes from each country can participate. So, stay tuned and do not miss the next episode of Inside Sailing.